great privilege to introduce this gentleman here. He started in computer science, did some coding. We have some affiliation there with backgrounds. My man loves people, loves to see them growing their dream, and has started a personal branding business. Fantastic seasoned speaker, Mr. Guillory Brutus.
Thank you, man. Wow. Honestly, I'm always super grateful to be here. Incredible to be in front of you guys. And I just want to quickly share with you all a little bit more about my journey coming to the United States. So when I was 14 years old, I was blessed to come to the U.S. with the opportunity to live a better life. After experiencing the tragic earthquake that took place down in Haiti, I felt as if I was given a second chance at life. My house was collapsed, and I can remember as if it was yesterday. I was heading home on my way from school when all of a sudden, everything around me started shaking. I hear a sound go boom. It was the nearest gas station that exploded. I saw somebody running with half of their face missing. That very same night, I ended up sleeping in front of rocks, in front of a church, praying and hoping that no one and nothing else could harm us. And that's when I realized that God had a purpose for me. God had given his grace upon my life around that time. And so, therefore, I get to be standing in front of you today because, honestly, he's been taking me on that journey to help me really figure out the next step for myself, but most importantly, how to help others. In which I've discovered that it is about cultivating a mindset of gratitude. A gratitude to not only be able to express in your day-to-day life, but help you cultivate an abundant mindset. And so I share this with you today because I want you to take away 3 main things that's going to help you transform your entire life. 3 years ago, I graduated from the University of Connecticut. Matter of fact, Thank you. Matter of fact, I actually started right here on this very campus right before I went to Storrs. And I remember I was so excited. I couldn't wait to get on campus because I knew that was going to be the next step for me. And that's when actually I was going out for a computer science major. I wanted to be part of the School of Engineering because I thought that was going to be my way out. But right after my first semester, I was already on academic probation. I ended up finding myself in a situation where I didn't know what to anticipate. And I was finding myself being depressed. And I remember one day I'm walking on campus with no direction and no sense of guidance. And I just felt like a complete failure by this time because the school was ready to kick me out. I just couldn't figure this out. I said, how am I going to make it? How am I going to carry on this purpose? Here I was given a second chance at life, and just for me to waste it. I was on scholarships. It was just not going to happen. And I remember calling my mom this evening and telling her that I was going to switch my major. I remember just being so scared because I just didn't want to disappoint them. But to tell you the truth, the reason why I was calling her was really because I wanted to take away my life. I was ready to commit suicide because I just didn't believe anymore that all the sufferings and burden that I was carrying was going to be sufficient enough for me to actually make it to where I was. And I remember just carrying on this for a while, and till that moment she picked up, she said, Guillory, well, pray about the decision about making and switching your major. When in fact, that's not why I called her. Really, I just wanted to hear her voice and kind of figuring out the reason why I shouldn't be doing what I was going to be doing. And so that's when it hit me that I had an opportunity to transform the challenges that I was facing into opportunities. I decided to go after my dream and applied for an internship with a few startup companies where I was discovering entrepreneurship for the first time. And I got super excited about it because then I got the opportunity to meet other fellow entrepreneurs, and we went through a whole business development program where I even got published in the Hartford Current. And that right there made the biggest difference in my entire life because it changed the trajectory to the reason why I'm here in front of you today. And so I started to embrace my journey. I started to embrace the path ahead. Although I still actually went to try to get into the School of Engineering. However, I realized towards the end of my senior year, I probably should switch my major. So then I made that decision right then and there and ended up going for an economics degree. And I ended up graduating. And eventually, afterwards, I realized that all of this time while I was in school was an opportunity for me to learn a life lesson. One in which I was gonna help me to write my own narrative, one in which I was gonna help me to be able to impact others and influence them to be able to make a positive change in their lives. And so, at the time, I started to develop more and branching into personal development. Started listening to Tony Robbins. I started listening to Eric Thomas, and especially I discovered Wayne Dyer. And eventually, what that ended up doing for me was making me realize that we are all spiritual beings having a human experience. And so if there's three things in which I want you to take away from my speech today is that you have the opportunity to transform your challenges into opportunities. You get to embrace your journey, but most importantly, you get to express your gratitude daily. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Gillo Rodriguez. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.